Welcome back. If you think walking alone is enough to stay healthy after 50, today's video might surprise you. Have you ever wondered why so many people over 50 still feel stiff, tired, swollen, and heavy in the legs, even if they walk every day? Most people assume walking is enough. But here is the truth. There is one simple movement that may do something walking often cannot. It reaches deep into the hips, inner thighs, pelvic floor, and lower body areas where stiffness, poor circulation, and hidden weakness quietly build over time. And that is exactly why so many people keep dealing with low energy, digestive discomfort, poor balance, and legs that feel older than they should. What makes this even more surprising is that the exercise looks almost too simple to matter. No gym, no machines, no intense workout. Just one natural movement that can help support circulation, lymphatic flow, strength, and even the health of your joints and internal organs. In this video, I am going to show you what that movement is, why experts recommend it, and why it may be even more powerful than walking after 50. Most people over 50 are told the same lazy advice: just walk more. And yes, walking helps, but let me be blunt. It does not fix everything. There are deeper areas in the body that often stay stiff, weak, and underused no matter how many steps you take. That is where the frog move becomes so interesting. At first glance, it looks almost too simple to matter. But that is exactly why weak thinkers ignore it. This movement works through the hips, inner thighs, pelvic floor, lower abdomen, and legs in a way ordinary daily movement often does not. It is an old, natural motion that helps wake up parts of the body that tend to go offline with age, long sitting hours, and reduced mobility. And once those areas start moving again, the whole body can begin to feel more alive, more supported, and more responsive. So before judging it by how simple it looks, understand this. Sometimes the most powerful exercise after 50 is not the hardest one. It is the one that reactivates what your body has been missing for years. And that naturally leads to the next question. If the frog move wakes up neglected muscles and hidden areas of the lower body, what does it actually improve first? One of the biggest benefits is deeper circulation, and this matters far more after 50 than most people realize. As we age, blood flow tends to slow down in the exact places people rarely think about: the inner thighs, pelvic floor, lower abdomen, and legs. That is when heaviness, swelling, stiffness, and that drained feeling start creeping in. Walking helps to a point, but it does not always reach those deeper, tighter zones. The frog move is different because it opens the hips, engages the legs, and creates a rhythmic pumping effect through the lower body. In simple terms, it helps move things that have been sitting still for too long. And when circulation improves, the body often feels lighter, warmer, and more alive. That is why this movement is not just about exercise. It is about restoring flow where the body has quietly been shutting down. Subscribe now and drop a comment below if your legs ever feel heavy or stiff. And once deeper circulation begins to improve, the next benefit becomes impossible to ignore: better lymphatic flow. Most people never think about the lymphatic system until their body starts feeling swollen, sluggish, inflamed, or just plain off. Here is the problem. Unlike blood circulation, the lymphatic system does not have a heart pumping for it. It depends on movement, breathing, and muscle contractions to keep fluid moving. And after 50, when mobility drops and sitting becomes a daily habit, that system can slow down badly. That is where the frog move earns its respect. By opening the groin, engaging the inner thighs, and creating rhythmic compression through the lower body, it helps stimulate areas where lymph tends to stagnate. In simple terms, it helps the body clear out waste instead of letting it sit there like dead weight. And when that drainage improves, many people start noticing less puffiness, less heaviness, and a cleaner sense of energy throughout the body. So after restoring blood flow, it makes perfect sense that this movement also helps support one of the body's most overlooked cleanup systems. And once the lymphatic system starts moving better, the next benefit becomes even more practical: strength. But not the fake kind people chase in the gym. I am talking about the kind of strength that helps you stand up easier, balance better, protect your joints, and move through daily life without feeling fragile. This is where the frog move becomes powerful. It does not rely on heavy weights or harsh impact. Instead, it activates the stabilizing muscles around the knees, hips, ankles, core, and spine through one natural, controlled movement. That matters after 50, because many people are not weak from laziness alone. They are weak because the body has stopped using the right muscles in the right way. And when those support muscles go silent, the joints start taking the abuse. The frog move helps reverse that pattern by teaching the body to work as a unit again. In simple terms, it builds useful strength without beating the hell out of your knees or back. So after improving circulation and lymph flow, it makes perfect sense that this movement also helps rebuild the body's foundation safely. And once the body begins rebuilding that deeper kind of strength, the next benefit makes even more sense: gentle support for the internal organs, especially through the abdomen and pelvic area. This is where the frog move goes beyond what most people expect from a simple exercise. As the body lowers and lifts with control, combined with steady breathing, it creates a subtle compression and release effect through the lower belly and pelvis. That rhythmic motion can help stimulate digestion, reduce feelings of bloating, and support more natural elimination. In other words, this is not just about muscles and joints. It is also about helping the body function better on the inside. That matters even more after 50, because many people start noticing discomfort they cannot fully explain. A heavy stomach, sluggish digestion, pressure in the lower abdomen, or a general sense that the body feels stuck. Weak people ignore those signals. Smart people pay attention. And when movement helps restore space, rhythm, and circulation in this area, the whole body often feels lighter and more at ease. So after improving strength and stability, it is only natural that this same movement can also support better internal function from the core outward. And once the movement begins to support digestion, pelvic comfort, and internal function, the next benefit becomes especially important for many adults over 50. Healthier blood return from the legs. This matters because as we age, circulation in the lower body often becomes weaker, especially after long hours of sitting or standing. That is when people start noticing tired legs, swelling around the ankles, and those visible veins that make the legs feel as heavy as they look. The frog move helps address that in a smart, gentle way. By keeping the knees open, the lower body active, and the calves engaged, it encourages the muscles of the legs to work like a second pump, helping push blood back upward more effectively. In simple terms, it helps the legs stop holding on to stagnant blood, like a scared fool holding on to old pain. And when that pressure begins to ease, the legs can feel lighter, less swollen, and more alive. So if this opened your eyes, subscribe to the channel right now, and leave a comment below telling me whether your legs ever feel heavy, tight, or swollen by the end of the day. And once the legs begin to feel lighter and circulation improves, the next step becomes obvious: learning how to do the frog move correctly. This is where many people mess it up. They either rush, force the position, or try to look perfect instead of moving with control. But the real power of this exercise comes from doing it simply and safely. Start by standing near a chair, countertop, or wall for support. Then lower yourself into a wide squat position with your knees open and your heels slightly lifted if needed. Place your hands on the floor, on a chair, or on blocks, whatever helps you stay stable. From there, inhale as you gently lift your hips a little, then exhale as you lower back into the squat. That small up and down motion is the frog move. It does not need to be deep, fast, or dramatic. What matters is rhythm, breath, and control. So after understanding why this movement helps the body, now you can see how simple the practice really is when you stop overcomplicating it. And once you understand the correct form, the next thing that matters is how much to do. Because this is exactly where foolish people sabotage themselves. They assume more is always better, so they push too hard, go too deep, or try to do too many repetitions on day one. That is weak thinking. After 50, the goal is not to impress anyone. The goal is to reconnect with the body and build trust in the movement. That is why beginners should start with just 5 to 10 slow, controlled repetitions. That small amount is often enough to wake up the hips, legs, pelvic area, and breath without overwhelming the joints or nervous system. As you move, focus on how the body feels, not on how dramatic the motion looks. A gentle rhythm, steady breathing, and good control will do far more than forcing a big range. In simple terms, consistency beats intensity every single time. So after learning the basic frog move, this step teaches the real lesson. Start small, move smart, and let the body adapt instead of attacking it like an idiot. And once you understand that starting small is the smartest approach, the next point becomes critical: knowing when to be careful. This is where too many people act tough and end up making things worse. The frog move may be simple, but that does not mean it is for everyone in every condition. People with recent knee replacement, serious hip problems, poor balance, dizziness, severe joint pain, or recent surgery need to slow down and use common sense. This is not weakness. It is intelligence. Stupid people ignore pain and pretend they are strong. Smart people respect the body and adjust before damage is done. Even if you are generally healthy, the rule is the same. This movement should create gentle effort, not sharp pain, panic, or instability. Use a chair, wall, or support if needed. Reduce the depth, shorten the range, or skip the movement until a doctor or physical therapist clears you. So after learning how to begin slowly, this final caution matters just as much. Progress only counts when it is safe, controlled, and built on respect for your body. And once you understand the need for caution, the final message becomes clear. This is not about chasing youth, showing off, or pretending your body is still 25. That kind of mindset is nonsense. After 50, real movement is about protecting your freedom, keeping your body responsive, and staying strong enough to live life on your own terms. That is exactly why the frog move matters. It is simple, natural, and powerful in a way that many people overlook because it does not look flashy. But when practiced consistently, it can support circulation, lymph flow, strength, balance, digestion, and lower body function in one connected movement. In other words, it helps the body remember how to work as a system again. And that is the real goal. Not to fight aging like a fool, but to move through it with intelligence, strength, and control. So if this message helped you see exercise differently, subscribe to the channel right now and leave a comment below telling me whether you would try the frog move as part of your daily routine.